And I'm back. Hey, 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 I'm back.
Sound resumed. Microphone activated.
What up?
Oh, you're back.
Mm-hmm. That I am.
Redo some work. My machine took a dump last night really hard.
Ooh. That's not good.
No. And you're echoing pretty bad.
And what?
You have a really bad echo.
I do?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing it.
Well, TeamSpeak says it's coming from you.
How do you know? How can you check?
Because whenever I say something, you light up as well.
Well, not much I can do about that.
And I went to go save. I was working on something. I went to go save, and the computer just locked up tight on me when I went to reboot. So pretty much I had to force power it down. When I turned it back on today, pretty much the raid was going, what the fuck did you just do? I have to fix this.
Yikes. What did you what ended up happening? I mean, what was it? Just were you using GIMP? Did GIMP lock it up, or?
I have no idea. I think GIMP, like I told GIMP to save, and that's when everything went downhill. Like Firefox stopped responding, then like the hard disk was thrashing nonstop. So I think GIMP was using swap, which GIMP does not like. I think that just the hard disk went out 100%, and then something just kind of went, nope, you're done now, and the machine just died.
You know, it's kind of funny that, like, with the amount of people that are, you know, working on this as an open source project, and the amount of years it's been around, you'd think it'd be a lot better or a lot further along, but yeah, it's really not, is it?
Well, it's only about a team of like 3 to 5 people at most.
Yeah, but 3 to 5 people can still get a lot of stuff done. You'd be surprised. How long has GIMP been around?
For quite some time.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell. It's just they've pretty much built it from scratch, and now they're also going through the process of porting it over to 3 guys, it's a fairly complicated thing. It's going to take them time. Not only that, but I'm not wholly sure if this new underpinning will be Windows compatible. If there is a Windows package for it. Right now, GKT does, but
It's been around since 1996. It's been around what 19 years now.
but also remember it runs much better under Linux than it does under Windows.
Right. Not worried about that. Let's see.
Fortunately, I was able to recover some of what I was working on. It had one of the most entertaining file corruptions I've seen.
I was hoping it'd say how many people were working on this project, but if it's been around, this is open source. I mean, they're getting help from people outside of their community or outside of their development group anyway.
Yeah, every once in a while someone chips in going, hey, I've written this piece of code that does whatever function.
What they should have done, and this is just my opinion, is what they should have done is worked on building a solid platform and just slowly upgraded from there. And I know like some people will be like, well, that's what they did. Well, no, it's not what they did, because obviously if they would have done that, they wouldn't be running into the problems that they have now.
GTK is being retired as far as I can tell.
Right.
It's been around for a while, and they're pretty much going, well, this is old, it's not handling the newer hardware as well as it should, and rather than updating it and making it able to handle newer hardware, they're just simply replacing it. This is also something I've been seeing in the Linux community, is that they're migrating to have more standardized platforms. Something that I've been saying that they should have been doing
Well, see,
a long time ago. But
Photoshop's written in C++, so if they would have switched over to C++ a long time ago, it would have saved them a lot of headaches.
Actually, no, it's probably Python.
Huh?
It has a Python console.
What?
GIMP has a Python console.
Yeah.
It's a good bet that GIMP was written in Python.
And Python's just fine. There's a lot of applications that still use Python on a regular basis too. So. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see somebody really kind of compete with Adobe, but if that's what they want to do, if they want to be a competition, they're gonna have to step their game up big time. I mean, they've been around like 19 years. The Adobe Photoshop's been around 25 years. I mean, they've been around 6 years longer, but. Huh?
It's one of those, they're working on it, like the new migration that they're working towards should give them a serious competition with Photoshop, but they need to complete that migration. It's taking some time.
Yeah.
Because also with that migration, they're going to add a lot of Photoshop-like features that should have been there originally, but I don't know what stopped them. So
I don't know either. I mean, they should have done something like Blender and really relied more on the community as opposed to saying we'll take your help, but we want to do most of the programming ourselves. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know, man. I'm kind of torn with it, because it's like, I don't know, and I don't know these guys. I don't know the programmers. I don't know them personally, so like it's hard for me to really say anything. But if they were planning on making money off of this, then you know, they should have gone and researched and found out, like, all right, what's Adobe running? What programming code are they running? Okay, well, it looks like they're running this, so we're gonna have to teach ourselves how to use this code. And I don't know if you've used code, but from what I understand, code is fairly similar across the board. It's not dead on similar, but it's pretty darn close. So it would have been nothing for them to switch over to, say, C++ or C# or anything that is more widely used. I don't even know why they even use the code that they're on. Doesn't really say. GTK. C, they use C and GTK plus, so it must have been C first, and then I don't know, dude.
Yeah, C would make sense because GTK has been around for a little bit, but isn't as old. Like GTK showed up mid 2000s, so it was written in C, then migrated to GTK. Now they're migrating to this new platform.
What is the new platform? What code?
I'd have to go to the site. It's something.
Well, it's gonna have to be something significant if they want to stay in the limelight as a Photoshop competitor. That's for sure. I'm sure they know that, but man. We just need to step up their game a little bit.
They do that. They actually have an update out for it. They're at 2.8.14. The GIMP version I'm running is 2.8.2.
Well, that might
It's
fix.
a lot better than what works. I think so. They lit a fire under somebody's ass because GIMP was for the longest time notorious for not updating the Windows distribution. Like it was 4 years before they updated Windows between 2.6 and 2.8.
That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, they completely forgot that they had a Windows market share.
Wow.
So I think they've managed to get somebody on to the project that does just that does with Windows, which is good. They've been needing that.
Yeah, I would say that should be one of the highest priorities for them, not just Linux, because there's more people using Windows than there are Linux users. So if they can get Windows running good, and if they can have something that can even somewhat compete but be just as reliable as Photoshop, then that's a good stepping stone. That they get more people using it. To be honest with you, I haven't used it because I watched some videos on YouTube on it and I've tried it out and I'm like, this is a joke. This is not. Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled about it. I mean, it wasn't just because I've been using Photoshop my whole life. I compared it to like Manga Studio and I compared it to like Sketchbook Pro, and I'm like, geez, I could do more stuff in these other software packages and it'd be super reliable as opposed to what's going on with GIMP. And it's kind of sad because
This is also the first time that I've had GIMP go down so hard to take out the machine with it.
Yeah.
Now, like, unfortunately this time, it seems that the file correction was... I was able to salvage a lot of what I was working on, and just simply drop in from a, pretty much a previous version. Which, yeah, it's annoying, but that's the price I pay for free.
Well, I would normally agree with you, but experiencing open source and free software like Blender or some of the other softwares I've used as open source, there's some really great programs out there that don't.
Yeah, don't get me wrong on that. I've used Blender and I tortured the fuck out of Blender years ago.
Yeah.
And just simply could not get it done. Then you have like LibreOffice, which is so heavily compartmentalized that even if you can get one portion of it to blow up, the program just keeps on running, goes, well, that was interesting, and keeps going.
Yeah. Well, I hope they get something going, because I really want Adobe to be shaking in their boots a little bit with some of their software. Okay.
Just like Windows did to Macintosh when Apple switched over to Intel. Pretty much at that point, everybody went, well, what's the difference between Apple and PC? There's no difference. I'm just gonna go buy a PC. It's cheaper. It does all the same things.
Yeah. Well, that was that's always been a touchy topic, even with the people that have been diehard Apple fans. The funny part is, what they don't remember is that Bill Gates actually bailed out Apple, kept them out of bankruptcy. They still
150 million.
Yeah, they still work together. Like, what they don't realize is that Microsoft and Apple, or Mac actually makes Windows software. People don't know that, or they're just
they trade off with each other.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. It's funny. I found they did a sit-down interview with Steve Jobs and Bill Gates.
Shit, this is actually this GIMP 2 update.
Yeah.
Is 64-bit.
There you go.
But they've been running 32-bit for a long time. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there.
No, you're fine. No, I was just saying that Bill Gates and Steve Jobs sat down a year before Steve passed, and they were having a good laugh at just everything. Like, the person was asking them, like, do you guys not like each other? Because they were, asking questions that the audience was giving them and stuff like that. And what people don't realize is they were the best friend. They were good friends. A lot of people don't know that. They used to hang out all the time, and I'm sure they still did up till he died. Huh?
Oh yeah. No. When Steve Jobs was found dead, he was pretty much found in his bed. He had passed away in his sleep. But a letter from Bill Gates was on the nightstand.
Yeah.
No, I know that they worked with each other. Their history goes back all the way pretty much to shortly after Microsoft got their start. Microsoft's big break came from the Macintosh from 1984 with Excel.
Yep.
If it weren't for Apple and the Macintosh at that time, Microsoft would not have gotten into the position that they're in now.
Yep. It's kind of funny how people kind of gravitate towards that fanboyism. And they don't realize how closely tied a lot of that stuff is. But ultimately, it's just a tool. If you like one tool better than the other, then you're going to use it, right? I mean, it's whatever makes your life easier, and that's all it should matter.
Because I'm incredibly familiar with PC and Windows. Hand me a Macintosh, and I'll just kind of go, huh? I won't be as clueless as some users. But and I actually told some of my friends who use Macintosh, don't hand me your Macintosh because I'm liable to break it. Because the Mac operating system is based off of Unix.
Yeah.
Which, if you could get into console on a Mac OS, if you know Unix commands, you can operate the Mac OS from terminal.
Did not know that.
Yeah, well, you can fudge some Mac programs to run on Linux. Because if they make just the right calls, Linux goes, yeah, I know how to handle that. In fact, I had a Linux distribution set up that I had someone who used Mac exclusively. Like, he sat down at this and went, wow, this, I can't tell him. Like, I can tell it's not Mac because there's a few things different, but the thing is damn convincing.
It's so funny how people gravitate towards that kind of stuff without even thinking about, oh, well, actually, it's just a lack of knowledge, right? You know, they don't realize what's going on. So they just assume that because the operating system is different, that the machine's different. In our reality, the machine's not any different. Shit. Machine's got the same parts as... Damn it. Machine's got same parts as what most PCs got in them. Or laptops.
To some degree.
No, to the exact same degree.
No, they're usually relatively off the shelf, slightly modified, but for the most part they are the same thing. I don't think I told you about the Pop-Tarts story.
No.
Alright, someone took... You've seen the new Macintosh, the Macintosh Pros, the trash cans?
Yes, yeah, those, yep.
Someone went to the Apple store and spec'd one out. Top line everything that Apple offered. Then took the price tag and then turned around and spec'd out a equivalent machine for Windows and he was left over with a few grand.
Oh yeah.
He decided to buy as many Pop-Tarts as Tiger Direct would let him. It might have been Newegg. And he ran out. The store wouldn't let him buy any more. Like he bought it's like pretty much 1,000 cases of 3 different types of Pop-Tarts, and the store wouldn't let him buy any more. And he still had money left over.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So for the most part, and what was even sillier was when he went over. Well, this is what this machine can do, and what this machine can do. The PC, for less, could do more.
Oh, I know.
The stock Mac Pro, against a PC of equivalent specs, the PC could still do more because, for whatever reason, Apple decided to handicap certain aspects of the Mac Pro. So, like the two AMD video cards are undervolted and underclocked. And if you go to replace them, the machine won't post at all. It just sits there.
Wow.
Look, I have issues with Apple, and most of them stem from an engineering and marketing standpoint. The engineering is that they're producing products that are overpriced and inferior to the competition. If Apple sat down and built a machine that was genuinely something that it's like, okay, isn't using handicapped components, isn't retardedly designed, I would go buy an Apple if you wanted one, but right now I cannot, from a professionally trained standpoint, say go get an Apple. You're wasting your money right now.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because, oh shit.
They used to be on top of the world when it came to things like graphics and 3D for commercial applications. And then they just squandered it. They sat on their laurels, and Windows and the PC side hardware developers went, sure, we can do this. We can do what Apple has their hardware doing. We can do this. The developers are, well, we should develop for Windows because the hardware can do it. The bigger market share. And Apple has never recovered that.
No. Nope, and I don't think they ever will, to be honest with you. It's so funny because so many people will talk about how the Mac or any of the Mac products are so much better and everything else is inferior. And I don't mean just like, this is not just like a Mac PC debate. You know, you talk about Mac, their mobile versus iOS, their iOS versus say Android. And it's so funny because people think that they think that Mac holds more of the market share than Android or any of these other companies. And what they don't realize is they take up a fraction, like 20%.
Actually, it's less.
Is it? It's like probably 10 now, but
14%.
14.
14%. Android holds a comfortable about 80%, and then you have BlackBerry with their sliver of the market share, and then you have everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Windows holds the other market share. Windows is actually the biggest threat in terms of smartphones to Android is the Windows phone, not iOS. Windows.
Huh.
Because Microsoft has taken a look at what Android did and is doing right, and has taken a look at what iOS is doing right, and they've pretty much been smashing those together and seeing what they can get. Windows 10 should be entertaining.
Yeah, we'll see about that one. I don't know how thrilled I am about it, but I'll definitely give it a shot. See what it's like.
From all the tech demos and what I've been seeing, Windows 10 looks like it is the pretty much repeat of Vista and Windows 7. Windows 10 is supposed to be what Windows 8 was supposed to be.
Okay.
The seamless integration between tablet and desktop, keeping the best of both worlds. Tablet having the touch-derived interface, and desktop having the keyboard and mouse-driven interface.
I'm not sure if they keep saying, "Well, this is what it's supposed." Well, at Windows 8 was supposed to be. It's like, well, why didn't you just do that for Windows 8?
That one I don't know. It's the same thing with like Windows 7 is what Vista was supposed to be. Again, it's the same thing, and it's really hard to say what happened, why this happened. Other than the best speculation I can give you, at least for Windows 8, was that Microsoft was trying its damnedest to be like Apple, that releases an operating system update every year. They wanted to do that with Windows, which is going against their previous established.
Yeah, but I'm kind of surprised that they're doing that because they're giving away Windows 10 for free for anybody that's got Windows 7 or Windows 8.
That's because the other thing that they've learned is that the money isn't in the residential side.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
All of the money that they're going to get is from corporate, and that was something that they learned. That Windows 8 is a lot of corporations went, no, I don't want to switch to this because a lot of the reviews for Windows 8 said that for multitasking and content production, Windows 8 was really bad at it.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, was it?
So they're looking. So corporate is going. If you can fix this divide that you've created between content creation and content consumption, then we'll look at it. But
Still there? You cut out.
yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, okay. It like cut out there at the end. Well, to be honest with you, I was thinking about going with I was looking at doing a Mac for my desktop just because I figured I'd give it a shot, but by the time I priced it out, I was like, good freaking night. There's no way I can afford this thing.
Yeah, that's not working.
I think I paid $2,000 to build the one I got here in front of me. So about $2,000 is what I paid to build this one. Maybe $1,700. I have to price out my parts list.
I think in total, what I spent on my current rig was 1,000 at base, and it's been upgraded since. So so
Yeah.
I'd say about 2,000, but that was also 2 years ago too. So, jeez, that's touchy.
All right, I'm on 18. Yeah, I think the machine that I priced out through the Mac store was like $4,000 for the same components that I have in this thing, and I'm like, there's no way. I'm not gonna pay. And I think that was with less RAM too. I think that was with only 16 gigs of RAM as opposed to 32, which is what I got in this one, and minus the DVD burner. The DVD burner would have cost me an arm and a leg. But I have it on this machine here.
Yeah, no, it's the machine I'll be migrating to. I think it's like when I looked up its spec, I could fit it with 72 gigabytes of RAM if I really felt like that in that.
Jeez.
Yeah, except for the RAM that makes this up is really expensive new.
Ah.
And so right now it's loaded with 12 gigabytes of RAM.
What kind of board were you going to go with?
It's a Dell-based machine.
Mm.
It's a P5500.
Oh, okay.
So it's enterprise class hardware.
I'm guessing that would have had 2 processor slots on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 Xeon cores are loaded in there right now.
You know, you could probably build the exact same machine for half the price.
Well, considering that this is a machine that I got used from a friend who does resale on this stuff.
Oh, the machine you have is used, right? Is that what you're saying?
The machine I'll be migrating to is used. The machine that I currently have is a HP-based machine that's, well, far from HP, original spec as it can get.
It's morphed.
Yeah.
That's funny.
When I bought it, I didn't have the tools on hand to do a custom build. Otherwise, I would have done that.
Hmm.
But also at the time, I had size restrictions. I couldn't have like a full tower. It had to be a mid tower or smaller. And since then, it's morphed. It's actually been transplanted into a full tower case. One of those Antec cases from like the early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
So, pretty much one of the god tier cases from what I've been told. Because it's an unassuming case. It's pretty much, yeah, it's got some styling, but it's very meh to look at, but it has a lot of space internally. And a lot of options for fans to be attached.
That's cool.
And if you were so inclined, later versions of the case did include grommets for water cooling. Put the radiator on the outside of the case.
That's kind of surprising. When did you say that machine came out? Or what, the case came out?
The case came out in the... My version, my particular case came from about 2003 or so.
Oh, okay. So that was the very early on. That was very early in the water cooling then.
Yeah, so they didn't quite see the need to put that on this particular case. Instead, it has a whole bunch of fan slots.
Yep. Nothing wrong with that, man. To be honest with you, I was debating on whether to go liquid cool or air cool. And I ended up going air cool partially because down in my basement it's like a freaking meat locker down here. It's like freezing cold down here. So I wouldn't have needed water cool. I wouldn't have benefited much from the water cool. And I was watching some other builds that were using the same setup that I used, but they went from air cool to water cool, and the only temperature difference that in a decently warm room, the only temperature difference that there was between the water and the air cool was only like 2 degrees. So the air cool would run about 2 degrees warmer. And I was like, well, I can't justify running or buying a water-cooled setup if it's only going to save me 2 degrees. So I went air cool with mine. But then again, like I
did a water-cooled rig recently for my mom, actually.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the radiator fans never spin up. I think I've been there once, and the noisiest fan in her case is this little piss-ass fan that's mounted over the south ridge. Winds away.
Well, that's good.
And I had done some research. The way her machine's configured is that both radiators are set on, both fans are set on, are mounted for pulling air into the radiator rather than blowing air into the radiator. My research indicated that there really wasn't any difference between push or pull. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
The other thing is that she has a long-haired cat. So the way the machine's built, I can clean the radiator from the top of the machine, never have to remove it with a vacuum cleaner.
Gotcha. I'd hate to see what it would be like if you did the wrong fan setup and you had to open that thing up with all that long cat hair in there.
Oh, it'd be awful.
That would be a mess. How's your buddy's build going? Did you get that done the other night?
No, it's sitting on the back burner right now.
Ah.
What? Iceland. What the fuck?
Don't know.
There's a whole bunch of artifacting going on.
We're in GIMP?
Yeah, where there previously wasn't. The update really is actually really clunky right now. Like, it's not responding like it once was.
Yeah, you might have to do some research on it and see what you have to change, what you'd have to do. Probably something you'd have to do.
It's not making the tablet properly. It's dragging its feet on that. What?
What is it doing? Being stupid?
Yeah. Like, oh, this area that you just cleared of any errant pixels? Yeah, no, there's still something there. Oh, you wanted me to fill that area? Okay, I'm gonna sit here and think for a bit. No, it's not being filled. I also found out the color of the interface isn't actually pure white. Like the interface for the menus and stuff
Yeah.
isn't white. It's close to white.
Well, you want it white or what?
No, it just threw me off because I found the color dead on, and the paint selector disappears. Because apparently the interface color is F8, F8, F8. Suppose it makes sense. That's a lot easier on the eyes than pure white.
They should allow you to pick a different, like, they should allow you to do like a light gray or dark gray. Or even darker gray. That'd be even easier on the eyes.
Probably. I would have to look into settings. I know that there are skins for GIMP.
Yeah.
I've never used them. I've never had the need for them.
Well, I can tell you right now, going from CS4 to CS6, I like CS6 better for the user interface because CS6 is like a dark gray. I mean, I could change it to be the classic light gray, but the lighter I go, it seems like the rougher it is on my eyes. And part of it, I mean, I know part of it has to do with the fact that I've been using CS6 for a while now, but once I remember, like, even working in like CS4 and earlier versions, like my eyes, I would feel really tired at the end of the day. At least with CS6, my eyes don't feel as tired after a long day of work. They don't feel as strained. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah. I think Charles finally passed out, man. Apparently he stayed up all night.
Yeah, he was on like briefly. Like while you were muted or away or something like that, but he was on briefly and then left again, so.
Yeah. He must have been dragging big time. Oops. Oh, yeah. Nope. Yep. What? How did I miss that? Shit.
Okay, good job, Gimp. There's only 4 cores in this machine. Numbers of processors to use. I can tell it to go higher than 4.
What now?
GIMP is being special.
Ah.
Now, gigabyte. Interface.
Taking a long way of doing this.
What?
GIMP being GIMP.
I'm going through its settings to tweak it just so that it works properly. CMYK profile, and there's none selected. So you go to well, what options do you have? Select profile from disk.
Okay.
That was pretty much my thought too, because
I didn't realize that GIMP had a disk.
yeah, if you click on that, it takes you to an open file dialog.
Ah.
Input devices. Okay. Do the stylus. That's good.
GIMP.
Yeah, nothing major changed really. Just looks like some UI tweaks that I don't like.
Yeah, but is it going to perform better with it being 64?
No.
That's what you got to think about, because you can get used to a GUI change, right? Especially if you get better performance out of it going to 64-bit. It's just a matter of how willing you're gonna be, how more open-minded you're gonna be about it, right? I mean, if you think about it. For me, I'd probably say the same thing, but then I would sit there for about an hour or two and just fiddle around with it until I started getting used to the new interface. I don't let interfaces bother me too much anymore. I used to get really snotty about that, but it's not even worth it anymore, especially if you get better performance out of a newer version.
That's a mixed bag with me. If it performs better, but I can't do my job or do the task that I want to do because the interface is not cooperating with me, then it doesn't matter how well it performs. I can't do my job.
Well, I would agree with that, but I think you just got to get used to what is going on with the interface, right? I mean, it's not like what's the interface doing? Is it just not functioning, or is it did they move stuff into different spots?
It's like really silly things like attention to details. Like, okay, the paint selector doesn't have like the color selector. The two we got the two that you're working on doesn't have a border around it. So, like I mentioned, that I found the exact color, the interface. That was really annoying to me because I thought something had gone wrong because the paint selector wasn't showing.
Okay.
Because I had just simply selected the color that the interface was.
Now, is there something? Do they have like a user preference that you can go in and change your preferences around, like most software packages do?
Yeah, that's where I was just fiddling with.
Oh, gotcha.
There isn't actually any setting for me to tweak pretty much tweak the UI unless I go and grab a theme.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, maybe they'll fix it with a new update.
Hard to say.
4 years down the road.
Probably. Get farms.
You should just save yourself up $45 and buy a Sketchbook Pro 7. That'd do quite a bit of stuff. I'd probably do as much stuff as GIMP, and it's going to be a lot better. So what are you going to have to do? Reload the 32-bit GIMP, like an older version?
No, although apparently upcoming is 2.9.1. It's very confusing. They're jumping another major number.
Ah.
It's from okay, that makes sense. Good to know. The way GIMP does its numbering, 2.8 is a stable, but 2.9 is going to be development.
Ah.
And GIMP 2.9 will become GIMP 2.10, and all the new features are implemented with all major bugs removed. Well, that's yeah, I like this one. There's no release date yet. It'll still take some time. Probably until the end of 2013.
2013?
Whoops.
That was 2 years ago. Year and a half ago. Whatever. Wait, so they're way behind.
Yeah, I think that migration that they had to suddenly switch to that migration thing was really throwing them off. I don't know.
Why don't they just open it up to where the community's helping them out more? I mean, geez, there's a lot of people.
They have 60 active people working on this.
How many?
60.
60.
60 active contributors.
They have 60 people working on it, and they can't get their shit together? 60...
If this were a company, it would be pretty poorly managed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I know it's open source, and I know it's free, but you know what? Find a way to charge money for it and make it legit, and then, let's, do it right. If you're going to compete with something as big as Photoshop, then do it right.
I think that's where they're running into a problem. They took a look at what happened with OpenOffice.
Yeah.
And how fast that got dropped in the open source community when Oracle went, we're going to start charging for this.
Right.
The open source community went, fine, we don't have to ship it. And almost like overnight, every Linux distribution stopped supporting OpenOffice. And just for irony, insult to injury, the devs for OpenOffice jumped ship.
Huh.
If you go to LibreOffice, at least older versions of LibreOffice, particularly LibreOffice 3, and you ask it, if you go to its about information,
yeah,
LibreOffice, we'll say, OO build 3, OpenOffice build 3.
Huh.
So pretty much when Oracle did the we're gonna start charging for this, not only did the developers jump ship, they took a copy of the source code with them and handed it off to the Open Document Foundation and LibreOffice. I'm like, here's the entire inner workings of OpenOffice. Have a day.
Huh. That's funny. That is funny.
Which Oracle got really badly burned off of that because they were counting that the open source community would support this move.
Well, when you take something that's free and open source and then try to get people to pay for it, and I'm sure they charged a hefty price for it as well.
Oh yeah, they wanted to try and compete with Microsoft Office.
Right.
Which goes for $200 a license.
Right. When you do that to people instantly say, "Yeah, I'm not gonna support you anymore." Like,
yeah,
that's
they got really burned from that.
Yeah.
And so the game developers aren't going to do that because they know that as soon as they do it, their project is going to get abandoned because everybody's going to go, "Fuck you." I
Well,
feel like paying however much you are charging for the service. It's not the model that open source software has.
right. But let me just put something in perspective here. Like that Office software you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was really good software. Like it could legitimately compete with Microsoft Office, right?
To some extent, but yeah, I could have.
Okay, so but let's just put this in perspective. GIMP cannot compete with Photoshop. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay? It does well at what it does, but it's not I wouldn't even consider it a competitor to Photoshop. Now, if they were to say, we're going to put this on Kickstarter, we want to charge $100 or maybe $50 per license, but by doing this, we'll be able to say that the quality is going to be just like Adobe Photoshop or maybe slightly behind. Okay?
And that is actually a viable model. Actually, a software came out that everybody went, well, this is going to replace him. Krita
Okay.
did that. They did a Kickstarter to get get all the code together. Krita is actually has a very polished interface, but it can't do what I want it to do. And as a lot of source experts went, Krita isn't going to replace GIMP because the two go in completely different directions. It's much like Photoshop and the Autodesk application. GIMP and Krita do completely different things. They can do the same things, but they're tools built for different purposes.
Uh-huh.
Krita was for complete digital, that you go from, that you start with a blank canvas on screen and you create something from that. GIMP was created originally for photo manipulation. And then they just found everybody kept loading it in like line art and trying to manipulate it and color it like Photoshop. That's what gave them the idea.
Gotcha. What time is it? 10?
Why are you? No. Well.
Revised. Open.
No. Wow, this is really bad. I'm tempted to actually uninstall and roll back to 2.8.2. This is just not responding at all.
What version did you download?
2.8.14.
Ah.
It's just not responding. Like, oh, you want your cursor back? No, you don't get your cursor. Almost to the point of it going, go fuck yourself. Level of unresponsiveness that I'm going, holy shit, GIMP's just crash.
So what part of so what does GIMP do that you need to have that needs to be there?
One of the cheats that I use a lot for my drawings is using the Magic Wand tool that I can do bulk selects, bulk deselects.
You can do that with Photoshop, and I believe you can do that with Sketchbook Pro 7.
I believe it. I could see that they would both have that.
Well, I'm just saying, you should be a little bit more open-minded to try some other software, so that way you're not stuck. I know, like, GIMP is free, right? I totally get it. You want something that you can use and not have to pay for, but on the flip side is you should experiment with other software like Sketchbook Pro 7 or something else that's going to be more on the cheap side. Excuse me, more on the cheap side, right? And see if it does what you want it to do before you make any kind of rash decisions on.
I'm not. Okay, I've actually a long time ago. I don't know if I mentioned. I did actually try and use Photoshop.
Yeah.
And Photoshop pretty much went, oh, I see you have a tablet. No, you don't.
Which version did you use?
I think it was CS, or it was fairly new. Wasn't hot line, top line, but it just refused to see my tablet. Every damn tweet that I tried just could not find the tablet.
Okay, well that doesn't sound like a. Well, I'd have to know what version you were using because.
I'm pretty sure it was CS4.
If it was CS4, my tablet. I have no problem with CS4 right now, on Windows 7, 8, or XP.
Yeah.
I have that installed on all my machines.
What was going on? It just did not want to see my tablet at all.
Right. Do you still have that software?
No, I haven't installed it. At this point, I've moved multiple times, so I have no idea where the discs would be.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's a way to make to figure out what's going on with it and get it working again. I mean, it's not like I know like you can't find the software now. That's different. But I'm just saying like to me that would be like, hey, I need to get on Google or I need to find out what's going on. Is it a Wacom driver issue or is it something to do with Photoshop or what's going on?
Yeah.
And you probably
I was just getting,
huh?
At that point, was getting fed up enough with it that even with the okay, fun, I will give it a shot without the tablet, see what I can do with the mouse, and none of the tools were working in the ways that I expected them to, especially coming from GIMP. It's one of those, for me to start using Photoshop, I would have to pretty much forget everything I've learned about digital art.
No. Not at all.
None of the tools work the same way.
I'd beg to differ. I think a lot of the tools work the same way. You just got to get used to using the tools in that fashion with the different software. You just got to be more open-minded about approaching newer software, right?
Well, as I've just apparently demonstrated to myself, that's not always the best thing. Is I'm going to have to roll back just because this is just not responding properly at all.
Well, right, but like you got to look at what software you're using. You're using software that's been around for 19 years, and they still haven't figured out how to stabilize it enough for people to use it on more of a professional level. I mean,
I also do keep in mind that I did tell you that GIMP will try and push Windows out of RAM.
yeah.
That's probably also partly what I was trying to do last night, was trying to push Windows out of RAM, and Windows was going, no, you don't get to do that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're just using an unstable software. I don't know, dude. I don't. I'm not.
I don't have a necessary choice.
Well, I mean,
I could save up the cash, but okay. I make so little money right now that $45 is two tanks of gas for me.
okay. Well, let's just.
Or nearly a full week's worth of work.
Okay, well, let's think about this. Just think about this. They do have like a free 30-day trial of the software, right?
And then it devolves into nag where it just simply stops working.
Right. But in that 30 days, it gives you enough time to know if that software is going to be what you can use or not. Right? So instead of like instantly saying I can't afford it, just download a demo real quick and try it out and work with it for a full 30 days. and see how it runs. See how you like it. See if there's any way. There's plenty of tutorials, so if you want to learn how to make it do this or make it do that, there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube and everywhere else that I'm pretty sure it could do anything you want it to do. Especially the newer version of Sketchbook Pro.
Yeah. Right now I'm not in the mood of jumping programs. I want to unfuck GIMP so I can finish what I was working on.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just saying, you should be a little bit more open-minded about what else is out there, because while I know you can't afford it now, you never know what stuff comes down the road, right? You never know what's going to happen in the future. So, you know, if you ever got a chance to use this, or if you ever use the software and you ever got a chance to get a hold of the software, then I don't know. I'm just saying, be a little bit more open-minded and just give it a shot, dude. I know you can't afford it right now, but at least try it so you can say you tried it, right? And then you can say, this is why I don't like it, right? Instead of saying...
Yeah, which is why I told you with Photoshop, is that it just simply didn't recognize my tablet, which drove me nuts. Because even my friend who works with Photoshop wasn't even sure what the hell was going on. Because he verified that, yep, the tablet is installed, drivers were functioning, the drivers were even running.
Yeah.
Photoshop's going, there's no tablet. What the fuck are you talking about? There's no tablet.
Well, it sounds like an easy fix. I'm sure I could have figured out what was going on with it. But I didn't know you at the time, so I know that didn't help. So yeah, I mean, there's always stuff that comes down the road, man. You just got to be a little bit more open-minded, is all I'm saying. Because you never know, dude. You never know.
Well, call me a pessimistic mess. Because from where I'm standing right now, I guess I could try the Sketchbook Pro software, and it may be the best thing for me, but still have to put gas in my car. I still have to pay the bills.
I hear you.
Where's that money going to come from when I'm scratching my head trying to figure out how the hell am I going to maintain my car? How the hell am I going to maintain where I'm living?
Right, I hear you. But what I'm saying is, try out the software. Be a little bit more open-minded.
Mm-hmm. And I might pick it up tomorrow and play with it before I have to head off the game.
Just try it. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know if it's gonna work out for what you need it for.
Mm-hmm. Huh. How did I fuck that up?
Ooh, excuse me.
No, that's broken. What? Where versions? Where would those be? That's broken. That's Linux. I pretty much figured that my creative endeavor night's fucked.
Why is that? There's too much things to fix.
Yeah. Because I know that Gimp's probably not going to want to play nicely on the rollback.
Probably
The
not.
last thing I want to do is uninstall, because then that fucks up all the things. Yeah. I probably should do an uninstall. Oh well. Now, let's see if I'm just gonna go back in.
Damn. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yes. I'll be right back.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Get myself something to drink because this is going to take itself some time. fucking shit.
What happened?
Alright, finish. Fuck. I'll load creating all these plugins. On a different note, if you're still there,
Yep, still here.
found some amazing music. Toss it up in chat.
You found some what?
Amazing music.
Yeah?
If you like retro wave or anything like that, this one is pretty much straight to the point. I thought it was come apart like that. Shit. Look at this happen. What the fuck? This day keeps getting better and better. You ever had a Wacom stylus come apart on you?
A what?
One of the stylus come. Ever had one of the Wacom stylus come apart on you?
Yeah. Not me physically, but I one of the other artists, his fell apart, so I ended up buying a new one and giving him one out of the storage locker here. I personally have not had one because while I do use the pressure a lot on the pen, I have it adjusted so that way it doesn't require me to push down so hard. So I'm not rough with the pen. I'm very gentle. When I'm not using it, it goes in the pen holder, and anytime I'm around the pen, I make sure I set it down gently, and I just made a habit of doing that because I know how bad they fall apart.
Yeah, because mine just fell apart.
Yeah, that's not good.
And I'm trying to get it back together, and it does not want to go back together. Oh shit, what was that? Well, this evening's activities are completely fucked. Get out of here, Dad. Oh, hang on. No.
What kind of tablet do you have?
Well, that's why it came apart. Things cracked. Well, that irreparably fucks the rest of my evening. Grab your cap. Well, this gets all put on hold then. Yeah, now I found out why the stylus came apart.
Yeah, because the barrel's cracked, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. That's what happened to the other artist pen, Brad. His cracked too. How new is your tablet? Is it fairly new or is it fairly old?
Well, it's still listed. It's still under. It's still supported. So.
Well,
Intuos 4.
it's an Intuos 4. Okay, well then it's out of warranty, so you won't be able to get the pen replaced.
Oh. Oh hell no! It's out of warranty. It's well out of warranty.
You could probably find them on eBay for like $50.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah. They're not going to be cheap, dude.
You aren't kidding.
Nope. They're even the Intuos 3 line. Yeah, the Intuos pens, period, are really expensive. So.
Once you used Wacom Intuos 4 goes for.
Probably more than that. Well, no, it might be. Well, I don't know. That I don't know.
Oh, a complete set, yeah. Well, fuck. Yeah, it's at this point I'm looking at the prices and it's like the cheapest pen that they have listed is $88, so it comes